We are in St. Augustine, Florida, and this is the last evening that we're all going to be together on the RoadRunner for this trip. This is the crew's interview, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the first deal is that the captain would like to thank his crew, and that really did a great job on this trip, better than I've ever had before in my short memory anyway. And so it's great to have you with me, and I'd like to introduce Mike and Kim Reagan and Rick Kreiselman. And Mike and Kim, talk to me about this. We'll start with Kim. No, Mike. We'll start with Mike because he's my first mate. So talk to me about this.
First off, we're very glad you had us. We're very glad it was an excellent opportunity, a trip we always wanted to make down the coast. So it was an excellent opportunity for us to do. So we've definitely learned a lot, and we certainly appreciate your hospitality and have us aboard and allowing us to have the forward cabin. That was the master suite. That was very, very nice of you. But yeah, we've had a great time. We really have.
Yeah.
Well, come on now, Kim. Let's hear it from you. I want this to last a little time. Here. I mean, we're supposed to talk about what happened along the way and all that good stuff.
Oh well,
Kim was our navigator. And I nicknamed her Radar Annie. That's her middle name. So she's Radar Annie, and it makes sense because her father was named Radar on the trip this past spring. So she's Radar Annie, and she did a great job with the navigation. She also did a great job with procuring the marinas for us. And
I did okay with fuel. We were questioning that a little bit a couple times.
Finding the cheap fuel and
groceries and making lunches and breakfast for the captain. And yeah, it was an awesome trip. I cannot thank you enough.
Let's talk about some of the highlights and lowlights. I mean, I certainly think you enjoyed the day on the, was it the fourth day or something like that, when we came out of New York Harbor and couldn't even see the Statue of Liberty because of the fog?
Yes, I was a little concerned because you could not see more than 1/8 of a mile ahead of us. So we had to rely on the radar, which at first I wasn't so comfortable with until we were told that there were boats around us. And once we were upon them and we saw them, realized the radar worked. So I was a little more comfortable until we started running out of fuel.
when Captain Bob was in a gambling mood, since we were en route to Atlantic City, and wanted to see if we could make it on less than full fuel tanks.
Well, we had a little problem in New York City, which contributed to that. Was we arrived there at 5:15 or something, and that was 15 minutes too late.
So we were in a gambling mood and went out on the open ocean anyhow, and had to slow down. So it took us a little bit longer to get to Atlantic City, but we made it. We didn't run out of fuel, and then we were right back out there. And we only tried to run aground a couple times, so that was good too. No damage to the boat.
Managed to keep the RoadRunner off the bottom. That's the important thing.
Did the captain handle the crisis in a reasonable and proper manner to ease your fears?
Absolutely. Of course. We worked through it together. Our only concern was when we left before dawn, in rain, no clue where to go.
With zero visibility due to lack of light.
No, wait a minute.
But
I knew where to go. You just wouldn't listen to the non-boater.
Well, you know.
The captain wouldn't listen to the wrong.
I wouldn't. I was
a little concerned. So
I was getting advice from all three of you, and it was all conflicting. So I finally just decided to stop.
Because you wouldn't take the local talent.
Stop and wait.
It was probably a good idea to just stop until the local boater went through, and then we just followed him out, which was good. It's been a very good, fun, safe trip.
Okay, Renegade Rick, let's hear from you about the journey and the highs and lows, highlights and lowlights here. And
Oh, I think it's just been wonderful. The downside was I fully thought I would get into Rochester and see fall. But there just wasn't any fall foliage. And now my wife's calling, but I'll get to that later. Amtrak is calling, actually. But the highs, I mean, it's just been a great trip. Going through the locks on the Erie Canal. I hope this isn't really tearing up your video. Great music. I ripped it off the internet. But the trip through the Erie Canal and dropping 40 feet in one lock and going down 150 plus feet in 5 locks was just wonderful. Kim got us a great slip outside of Broadway, outside of the Empire State Building, 42nd Street in Manhattan, for a wonderful evening. Low light was we just got crummy pictures at the Statue of Liberty, but we did squeeze one in decent from the Staten Island Ferry. And other than that, we've just had a wonderful time together. And I just love these guys. I could almost take them home.
oh, wow, isn't that sweet?
Thank you, Bob, for getting these two on board for our trip.
Yeah, how about that?
Yeah.
You know, they're terrific.
That's been great.
And we're glad to have you with us, Rick. Even though you weren't as experienced a boater to begin with, now you are.
Yes. Now
Well, you know, I had a little bit on sailboats, but you guys
Yeah,
recognize
Now
that.
you know how to navigate with a chart. And
I had that on a sailboat too. You just guys won't recognize any sailboat people. These powerboat guys are
Stuff
weird.
happens a lot faster.
faster, a lot faster.
Oh yeah, we go a little quicker to the mark than we do on a sailboat.
Absolutely.
Plenty of time to figure out what you're going to do on a sailboat. It's like, what are we going to do?
Well,
It's here in an hour.
I certainly corrupted Mike Gilligan. I also call him Slowpoke, and on occasion, and he's a spendthrift too on occasion, because he goes at a speed that's not good on fuel, you know. So that's one of those things that happen too. But it's one of those things where today, for instance, in coming from our stop last night, our stop last night was in where was it? South Carolina, right?
Hilton Head.
Georgia?
Hilton Head.
No. Huh?
Hilton
Hilton
Head.
Head.
Hilton Head, South Carolina.
Yep.
Yeah. And and this morning I was making all kinds of good time for 5 hours from 7 to noon, and then I go down to have lunch and watch The Young and the Restless as per usual, and Gilligan here is going along at a snail's pace, except for the fact that he was rocking the boat, so that I was having trouble eating my lunch and wondering what the heck was going on. But
My rebuttal to that, Gilligan's rebuttal to that would be, it does tend to be the trend. The captain tends to take advantage of the smooth conditions and favorable weather, and then conveniently go down for lunch in The Young and the Restless when it becomes rainy and such.
And the
So-
waves pick up as
So-
we're heading
and
back
you
to
Can't
the
go
Atlantic.
fast.
well, you know, you can always put out
Safety of the
you can always
vessel
put
is
out the
paramount.
cry, you know, Captain Hazelton to the bridge, please. You know, we have a problem.
Safety of the RoadRunner is paramount. So
There you
I
go.
learned quite a bit.
I
Mike
appreciate
has
that.
taken care of your boat.
Oh, yeah.
That's the primary concern, even at the cost of maybe a little extra fuel here and there. And I did get the record mileage for the trip. I think I need to be commended for that.
That's right.
I think that-
120
yeah.
miles on a quarter tank again.
Yeah, that was
I don't think-
impressive. Yes.
It-
Now let's talk about the Chesapeake.
Well,
it all
there
evens
you
out
went
in the
through a
end.
whole tank of gas and
Wait,
120
time
miles.
out. Let's talk about your airline pilot that said the outside was going to be nice.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. He's
Well-
buying us dinner, right?
Amateur meteorologists are not what we listen to.
We look forward to meeting him. We
Yeah,
look
you
forward
bet.
to,
Well,
to
you
shake
will.
his hand and-
And break it.
Yeah. Okay, guys, say goodnight.
Good night.
Good night.
Night all.
Thank
Roadrunner.
you.